Truthful Tuesday.
Louder.
Happy Truthful Tuesday.
Yes. Welcome back.
Welcome.
Just some news for you guys. You might be seeing the format changing a little bit for our videos.
Yes.
You know, as we started this, as we evolve as people, our show is going to evolve as well.
Absolutely.
So it will be taking like a talk show vibe. So hence our little mugs.
The mugs.
Because it will be truthful tea time.
Yeah.
With the two of us.
Oh, I love that. So many teas.
And we want to still keep it as candid as possible, as relaxed as possible. Absolutely. This is us in our natural state.
Yeah.
You know, we're personal trainers and life coaches, and you know, we do a little bit of everything, and so we get to be comfortable in our work. Exactly. And we don't always have to be like prim and proper. Exactly. And this is how we woke up this morning.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Chilling. Baggy sweater.
Yeah.
It's cold today.
And yeah, you'll be seeing the mugs. And let's get started.
Yes. What's our topic today, Ronnie?
Today, you know, there's a lot going on in the world right now.
Yes.
I think it's a topic that's sensitive to you and I both. Mm-hmm. We're both individuals of different cultural backgrounds, ethnic backgrounds, and you know, part of our show is the truth. And you know, just a few days ago we had basically a massacre in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And it's finally, things are being pulled to the forefront. People are calling out how the media is portraying this person who killed many people and injured hundreds.
Yeah.
And just because he's white, yes, I said it, he's getting labeled as, oh, he was this kind of person, oh, we would have never thought this, you know, blah, blah, blah. And yet, when we look back in the recent years, when an innocent young black life is taken, it's, oh, but he looks like a thug, or, oh, he had this or this in his past.
It's totally expected.
And yeah. Mm-hmm. So, today's topic is a sensitive topic regarding race, but also how we just can't trust our mass media anymore. I mean, I hate to say it, like, I'm by no means any supporter of Trump.
No.
But the fact that he calls out certain news companies for being fake news, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to agree with him on that, because
it's the truth.
Mass media is just what's going to try to divide us more and more. And Absolutely. What we need right now in this country is love and a united forefront. We are the United States of America. Yeah. And we all come from different ethnic backgrounds, races, countries, and that is what made this country.
Yes.
You know, people migrated here from England because they wanted to flee the religious persecutions of Europe. Exactly. And history repeats itself. Yeah. And that's what we're going through. We're going through a cycle, and it's up to us, a new generation, to break the cycle.
Yes. I love that you said that. The breaking the cycle is what I believe in the most. I feel like it's your responsibility to break the cycle, and if you see a pattern in your family or in your neighborhood, in your community, in the world that you live in, right? Because at the end of the day, it's not about what country we live in. It's about the fact that we all live in the same planet, and we're made of the same thing, and we look different just to be able to adapt to our environment. That's the only reason why we ever even looked different. Yep. It's not because we chose to look different. Mm-mm. It's not because we have certain parents that come from a certain place, and because of that we're different than you. We are the same, right? That's why we work together. That's why we love each other so much. That's why we want to be part of each other's lives, because it doesn't matter where we come from. And we lose so much sight of that because of all of these things that we grow up hearing. I mean, if your parents watch the news and then you grow up watching the news and hearing all these things, you grow up believing in these things that you probably would never even believe in if you didn't watch it.
You don't, because look at all the pictures you see of little children playing with other little children, and you ask them, I remember seeing a video on Facebook, and it was like little kindergartners, I think, and they were being interviewed, and they were all different races, friends of different backgrounds. Yeah. And the question was, how are you guys different? And every answer had nothing to do with their physical appearance. Every answer was, well, he likes to read more, or I like to play with the Play-Doh, and he doesn't.
Yeah.
It was nothing to do with the physical appearance of his friend.
No,
that made him different. It's taught. It's taught.
It is, and love is love. Okay?
Love is love.
When they say love is blind, they mean love is blind because it doesn't have a race. It doesn't have all of those things you learn, and you can totally believe in it because of what you've been taught. But it's not what's natural to you. You don't look at someone and say like, no, they're dark skinned, and I don't like that. No, there's no way that you just don't like that.
Yeah.
You care about people because you are a human being. That's it. You don't have divide in your heart. You have divide in what you were taught.
Yes.
You make the associations based on what people teach you.
It's a conditioning.
It is.
It's totally a conditioning. And I will say this. I made my dad watch a documentary regarding race in America and how the black race is criminalized.
Absolutely.
And it's stuff you see in movies, you see it on the news, you see it in everything. And I posed the question to my dad, like, before you moved to America, before you migrated to America, when you lived in Fiji, did you ever think any negative thoughts regarding the black race? Or did it happen when you came to America? And sure enough, he sat there and he thought about it, and he was like, no, like, in Fiji, it wasn't even a thought in my mind. But yeah, the second you come to America and you start, viewing these things on television, it's a form of conditioning.
Absolutely.
The longer you sit in front of the TV, the more you're going to be stagnant in your thinking, stagnant in your views, because you're only viewing things based on what you're watching.
Yeah. And you're totally unaware.
Yeah.
The whole idea is that you think that what you're seeing is so real.
Yeah.
That you're like, oh, you have to watch the news because you have to be aware. No, you have to be aware of the fact that half of those things, probably more than half of those things, are not real.
Yeah.
They're not true. They are just things that are adding to the conditioning you already have.
Yeah.
You're in school and you're conditioned.
Yeah.
You're at home and you're conditioned.
Yeah.
You are always conditioned. You're always being conditioned to think a certain way. And
you're easily manipulated that way.
Yeah.
When you're conditioned to be manipulated, you will continually be manipulated.
And you don't know it. It becomes so embedded in you that you don't even know it's there.
Yeah.
You just think it's part of you.
Yeah.
And it isn't part of you. You are not naturally that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I shared with you once the story of one of my friends. So I was at work. And I'm hopping onto the thing that you said about media, right?
Yeah.
So I'm at work, and my friend is like, did you see the news about how this girl threw her dog out the window? And I was like, what are you talking about? He shows me this the clip of the news that showed, crazy woman basically throws her dog outside of the window.
And it was saved by like a cop or something.
The cop saved the dog's life because this crazy woman just threw this dog out the window, right? So this crazy woman, quote unquote, right, is my friend's girlfriend at the time. And it's like, she called me in tears, like, the dog jumped out the window, this puppy jumped out the window, what do I do? Help me grab it, right? Like, meet me here, this is where I'm at. So she turns around and goes to get her puppy that jumps out the window, right? Because it's a puppy and the puppy doesn't know what it's doing, right? And obviously the cop finds the dog.
Yeah.
And they, long story short, made this story into something that I totally wasn't.
Yeah.
But, it's not the best neighborhood. Like, it's the hood. You could totally easily get away with a story like that. And then people will watch it and totally believe it because it's expected. Because it's Opalaka. Yeah, people throw dogs out the window all the time. It's like not even what happened. This girl was crying because her puppy could have easily died because it jumped out the window while she was driving. They make it into whatever story they want to tell you.
It's for the news stations, it's all about ratings. Yeah. They want to be the first to report something because they need the ratings. The more viewers they have, the more ratings they get, the longer they stay continuously conditioning us, right?
Watch.
So they're going to create headlines that grab your attention and not the facts. It's no longer about the facts.
No.
You have to do your own research now. You have to look for sources that are true. And in that sense, it was your friend's girlfriend.
Yeah,
and, I mean, it can't get any
thankfully.
truer than that,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I remember talking to him and he was like, this is crazy, man. Like, I've always heard about the news kind of not being accurate, but like, this really happened to us.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're living proof that this is a real thing. And granted, it's not a big deal, but if they can make a story like that be an issue, right? If they can taint a story like that and make it seem like it was one way when it was really the other, think about what they can do with serious situations.
I mean, the other thing they do is local. I remember watching a short video clip on this. I don't know if it was a documentary, but you know, there's a lot out there revealing the truth now.
Yeah.
I can't name any sources or anything, but I know there's things where they pull pieces from news clips and things like that and piece the stories together. And a lot of the local news isn't even true local news anymore. Whatever the local news is reporting on national news is what the big national news companies have sold to the local sources. So one of the things that, and if you actually listen to the radio in the mornings, you'll hear every radio station talking about the same story.
Thing, of course.
But so this clip was a bunch of local news stations from all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all over the country, right? Reporting on the national news. And they each said everything verbatim. They didn't even try to change the words to make it their own. It was reported verbatim what was sold to them, what the big companies had sold to the smaller companies. But verbatim, the news anchors didn't even try to change the words to make it their own. Yeah.
Like it's that bad though. Like we're, like you said, we're that easily manipulated.
Yeah.
That we don't need any words to be changed. We could easily watch that and say, oh my God. And then the worst part is that
you go tell someone else.
And
then it spreads like wildfire.
it's at work, right? And then at work you're talking about it.
Yeah.
So instead of talking about things that would actually add value to your life, ways that you can, stop racism from being a thing, instead of actually communicating to one another about the fact that you want to contribute to making the world a better place, you're going to talk about all these things that are on the news that are not even real.
Yeah.
And if they are real, it doesn't matter if they're real or not, because you're not contributing to stopping things like that from happening. You're just talking about how negative they are and how you feel.
You're continuously putting those low frequency negative vibes out into the world. And then you wonder about karma.
Yeah.
You know? But when it comes down to the basics, outside, we look like two different people. Yeah. But literally underneath, guess what? Her rotator cuff is there just like mine.
Yeah.
You know, everything beyond this layer is all the same. You know, we have the same organs, we have the same muscles.
Yeah.
And it's literally, the color is just based on how far we live from the equator.
Exactly.
Like, the closer you live to the equator, the more melanin you have. And you know why? Melanin protects you from that sun damage.
Yes.
So,
oh my gosh. You know what? Like, and I'm very grateful that now I'm aware of that, because I was a victim too. You know, I was definitely conditioned as well. We all are.
Yeah.
And it is a blessing to be able to see that you are not conditioned anymore, or that you kind of recondition yourself.
And you broke the cycle.
You break the cycle.
You break the cycle, and then you recondition yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I remember, I would iron my hair all the time. Right? Like, and
Me too. With the iron. With the actual
iron. Yeah. My mom used to, since up until the age where I actually realized that my hair was different from others, I was like, I want to change it. Yeah. And I didn't want to change it because I literally didn't like my curly hair. I just thought that I needed to not like my curly hair because other people had straight hair.
Yeah.
And I saw other people straighten their hair, so I was like, oh, they can manipulate their hair, so why wouldn't I do that to mine?
Yeah.
I am Puerto Rican Dominican. My ass has curly hair. Curly. Like wild hair. And that is part of me, and that's not something that I should have wanted to change at such a young age. It's not something that I should ever feel ashamed of. It's something that you should embrace. Now, if you want to change it just because you want to have fun and change your hair, that's a different story.
Yeah.
But feeling the need to change who you are
to fit other people's expectations
is crazy.
Yeah.
Especially at such a young age.
But that's such of what we're bombarded with the things that we watch on TV.
Absolutely.
Like, I think the best example is when you see, there's memes on Instagram that you see about how, a women's health magazine is the only one where you'll see, okay, how to lose weight.
Exactly.
What you can eat. delicious recipes, or like, you know, like, and it's like, it starts with a good healthy thing in mind, but then as you progress in the magazine, it's like what you need to change about yourself,
Exactly.
or what else you can do to sabotage yourself, you know, like it's
Exactly.
that's that cycle.
It is,
right?
and it's painting conformity in a better picture, right?
I hate that word, conformity.
It sucks. You should not. There's nothing you need to conform to.
No.
What you need to be is your true self.
Your own authentic
Exactly.
self.
Yes. Period. And when you do that, you don't feel. It's like there's anxiety when you feel like you have to be something else,
or to
right?
fit in.
Yeah. And not only that, but aggression happens, right? Like, imagine if you never feel confident in your skin, right? Or happy in your skin, or if you feel like you're less than other people. You are going to either feel super depressed, right?
Yeah.
Or you're going to be anxious,
yeah.
right? And angry at the other side, right? If you think like my race isn't good enough, yours is better. Well, that's not fair. Why is yours better? That aggression, that competition, it's something that you don't need to have. And then when a person does kind of fight back for feeling like they're less than another type of race or whatever, then they're looked at wrongfully, right? They're looked at like the wrong people, like they're aggressive, or they have these labels now, and it's just a constant negative cycle. And it's not gonna stop until you stop it, until you're aware of it and partake in breaking the cycle.
There has to be those people that feel that way, that step up and step out. And that's what we're trying to do.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to do with this show, is be a voice. Be a voice of breaking that cycle.
Yes.
There's a lot of people out there doing it now, which I love. There's more woke people, I'll say.
Yes.
But part of it is not about getting upset that other people aren't woke yet.
No.
It's about slowly putting those seeds out there so that more people can become reciprocal and receive it in the proper light so that it can flourish and grow.
Exactly.
But there are those woke people that are constantly putting the other side down, and it's like, that's not how you're going to get people to change.
No.
You have to just plant the seeds, and you just like we've talked about before, you cannot force anyone to change. But you can lead them out.
Yes.
Right? You can be the light to help lead them out of that darkness.
Yes.
But know that you cannot continue. I don't know how to say the right words. You can't.
Part of it.
You can't put them down. You have to help them.
Exactly.
Right?
That's like, there's a saying in Spanish that says, "Estás echando leña al fuego," which is basically like you're adding to the fire, you know what I mean, by just being upset at these people and yelling at them, or saying like, you're not,
don't add fuel to the fire.
Exactly. That's the exact translation. You see, that's why we need both of us. Like you can't add to exactly what you're trying to stop, by thinking that even if you're adding what you know is the truth, right? Even if you know you're adding value, you're still adding in a way that is not loving, right? You have to add and spread love. Like when the hippies said like, all you need is
peace,
love, peace, love,
happiness,
they knew exactly what the heck they were talking about.
They totally did. They just, I think a lot of it was they didn't know how to actually share it in a means that, well, it probably just wasn't time for that at that time. It probably just wasn't
weird, right?
The era for it.
Right when you said it probably wasn't time for that, I was like, they weren't ready. They probably weren't ready.
No.
And I feel like the reason so many people are opening up and now voicing their opinions and talking to their friends about it and being more involved is because it's about time that we start getting ready for it. Because if not, you cannot complain about the world that you live in if you are not
doing anything to change
it, and if you're not aware of what is really going on. And the reason we even started this was not just because we have nothing better to do. We're just like bored out of our minds. We work equally just as hard, and we are both so passionate about making a difference and an impact in the world because of how many things are going wrong, and because we've grown to have this awareness so that we can share it, not so that we can just keep it to ourselves and bottle it up. We know how many people are still missing it and don't really get it, and we're not going around yelling like follow Truthful Tuesday.
Yeah.
We're not doing that, but we are sharing what we have to say about certain topics.
We're planting the seeds.
Yes.
And it's up to you guys, once you get that seed, to nourish it.
Yeah.
Feed
that
it.
Word so
Water
much.
it. Love it. You know, and that's yourself. Loving yourself, starting inside, is how you change the outside environment.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So it's not I have so many quotes flying through my head right now, and I'm just like, which one's the right one? I know. I can never cite my sources either. I'm just like, oh,
I
this
know
one.
this
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But yeah, it's a sensitive topic. We'd love your feedback.
Yes, what do you think about it?
What do you think about it? Your opinions.
Mm-hmm.
If you have any sources for us to look into regarding truth, you know, things that are not mass media, you know, rightful news, rightful sources.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We love hearing it. We want to increase the awareness in the world, and in a loving way, obviously, which is why we do it this way. So the more we can get people involved, the better.
Yeah.
And we want to build that community so that we have something to stand for.
Yep.
And we stand for love.
We stand for love.
Woo.
And we'll be back next week with a guest.
Yes.
Hopefully. We will be continuing our truthful tea time.
Yes.
And you will be seeing our environment changing as we grow.
We evolve little by little.
We love you.
Bye.